is for people getting turned on to this renewable energy? What's their biggest no deal issue?
Lack of knowledge and cost.
Okay.
People are accustomed to paying their utility bills on a monthly basis and investing in renewable energy equipment unless it was paid off or invested at the same rate in which they're investing into the utility companies could be uncomfortable for them. We're hoping that incentives will be made available so that residents and small businesses will be able to afford this energy equipment.
Now, I do understand that Michigan is not a renewable energy friendly state. I saw a documentary on Massachusetts where the government was offering like $5,000, $10,000 for people to put solar panels on their house. There was another, I think in Virginia. There's a bunch of states that are encouraging this type of technology, but unfortunately, Michigan isn't one of them. Am I correct?
You are absolutely correct. There are 38 states which offer favorable incentives to residents for adapting to renewable energy. I don't have an answer as to why we haven't gotten up to speed. I have learned that New Jersey is an area where there is concentrated poverty, and the government has developed incentive plans so that the lower income people will be able to have this equipment installed to offset the cost of their heating and cooling bills.
So when we talk about renewable energy and we talk about trying to supplement, say we have a $500 consumer bill, can we get that type of bill down to like $250 and then take the $250 that we saved to pay for the equipment that we purchased, so that we're actually still spending $500, but eventually the $250 will go away, right?
Right, when the equipment is paid off.
Right. So, I mean, you can save that much. You can cut your heating bill or use bill in half.
In half.
And that the investment would be equal to or close.
Again, a lot of it is determined by the household usage, the type of equipment that you are operating. Older furnaces may require more natural gas to operate. Older stoves, older hot water heating units, older boiler systems may require more fuel. And it depends on the budget of the family. Mm-hmm. Are they going to be able to purchase this equipment? In my experience, I don't try to go out and sell $30,000 PV systems, because people that I target, families that I target, cannot often afford this. But introducing them into water heating systems that will offset the cost of their natural gas bill by 40 to 60%, mm-hmm. and using that hot water to heat domestic, which is operating year-round for clothing and dishwasher and shower and other things, that would be the first step, a small investment to help ease the burden of the high cost of energy.
That's a good point. We know the energy hogs in our house, the refrigerator, the air conditioners, those type of things. Is there small enough systems that we could just say, plug those units in, instead of having the refrigerator draining and the high energy items in the house? Can they just be targeted with this renewable energy and leave the rest of the house alone and save some money?
Of course, anything that is tied into the grid, no matter if you're running a welder or you're running a refrigerator or you're running a dishwasher or an electric stove, mm-hmm. the energy will be created by the solar PV, solar photovoltaic, or the wind turbine. It doesn't really matter what it goes to in the house. When we enter the fuse box or the meter with the electricity that's created by wind or solar and is inverted over from DC to AC, it doesn't really matter where it goes.
But logistically, you could put new plugs in, and just run a green plug to those units, right?
It would be a little more difficult if that was something that you wanted to do prior to building the house, or mm-hmm. you wanted to spend the extra money for the rewiring. There's a lot of options out there. For example, if you wanted to run all of your lighting, this would be a hypothetical, mm-hmm. all of your lighting off a 12 volt, or items that don't require 110 volt electricity, you could do that. You could run 12 volt lighting. And I always use a camper or a mobile home as an example of a piece of equipment that can be operated off of 12 volts. The campers and trailers are adapting to the solar energy because they can put a couple of 80-watt panels on the rooftop of this building and keep the batteries charged. The battery will run the furnace, the hot water heating unit, the refrigerator. It can be all serviced from 12 volt. The amount of electricity that comes into our homes is 110. That's the rating, 110, 120. A lot of things in our home don't require 110 volts of power to run.
Right.
TV sets, computers, radios, they all have transformers in them that take that 110 and step it down to 12, 24, 9. So there's energy lost in those transformers that are plugged in most of the time, all the time. So there's energy being lost through the heat of that transformer.
As long as it's plugged in, it's using power.
As long as it's plugged in, it's using power.
And I guess that's where the power strips come in my house. I have everything tied into power strips, and we hit the power strip. Now, I went as far as to get rid of the power strips that had the glowing lights. I said, that's on. There's juice going through that.
Right.
Great. Give out the phone number. Give out the email address again. I forgot to go to a commercial, and I know you guys will forgive me for it, but I'm going to play them at the end of the show, so you're not going to get out of it. But we're going to give you a chance to give out your phone number, give out an email address, and let people know how they can get a hold of you to get more information. All right?
Okay. Again, the phone number is area code 313-295-9326. Email address is selfreliantenergy@yahoo.com.
Okay. Now, I asked you before what was the biggest encumbrance for people using your services. What was the deal breaker? What do you find is the deal maker? What really makes people pull out the checkbook and say, make it happen?
Because the cost of their utilities, they know, will exceed what they are now. They know that the costs are going up. Natural gas has increased quite a bit in the last 3 or 4 years. Electricity may do the same. We haven't had a increase in the cost of electricity in Michigan, to my knowledge, in about 12 years. They're fearing that we may follow suit with some of the other states and increase the cost of electricity as the demand increases. I'm told that as of 1999, the United States burned 3.8 megawatts of power, and it's anticipated by year 2020 that number will be 5 billion megawatts of power.
Wow.
And I may be wrong on those numbers, but
That's close enough.
those
are astronomical numbers.
Anticipated increase was done by the U.S. Bank.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're running out of time. I would encourage individuals at home that are watching this to take a moment to do some research on the internet, because this is possibly something that will help them. Okay, so if you're watching the show, you missed the number, you can always catch us here at the studio at 239-2901. But man, imagine if a quarter of the citizens of the city of Flint went renewable. What type of impact that could make on our footprint in this environment. Listen, you've been watching Common Ground. I'm your host, Paul Herring, and you remember, when people come together for the good of the community, they're on common ground. Good night.
Hi, my name's Paul Herring Jr., and my dad said he'd pay me a quarter for every person I got to come down and join the village, whatever that means. So I figured I'd just come on TV, smile real nice, and ask you guys to come down and join the village. So if 1,000 of you guys come down and tell my dad you saw this commercial, I'll be set. Then again, we might as well make that 6,000, because my friends want in too.
Juneteenth, African American Independence Day, a time to reflect and rejoice.
June 16th through the 19th in downtown Flint, from noon to 9:30 every day.
Vending opportunities.
Oh yeah, there's still time to sign up. Contact us at 810-239-2901. That's 810-239-2901.
Juneteenth, African American Independence Day. Join the village.
Did I say 25 cents?
Oh man, how you gonna play me like that?